Hi, I'm Mario from Bhuma. This is a short overview of our front-end application platform in action. Data typically housed in conventional databases such as MySQL or Postgres is at the foundation of every application. Finally, front-end teams build the UI and applications to visualize and interact with all this data. This is where Bhuma comes into play. We are a low-code platform for effortlessly building super apps. Let me show you a bit about the process and the possible outcomes by reducing the time and cost it takes to build such apps to a matter of hours instead of months. Here is our PrestoDB cluster overview, where we can monitor the performance, manage the nodes, and review the queries being executed. In addition, we have configured a step-send as a middleware. It allows a simplified API development while being capable of unifying that access across multiple REST APIs and services into a single GraphQL API. Once we are in our IDE, first thing we need to do is to connect the data source. In this case, I'm going to select an step-send that is connected to our Presto database. For this, I need to provide the endpoint where the data is available. And I also need to provide an API key for authorization. As you can see, connecting to your data source is pretty straightforward. Next thing to do is to start playing with the data. So in this case, I'm going to just drag and drop one of the KPIs, in this case, a donut, to show you how to connect, how to query your data. So I'm going to select the data source that we just created, and I'm going to start specifying the query that is going to fit this component. So this is very simple task. GraphQL allows you to see the schema. So I'm going to start typing, and as you can see, it will auto-complete all the things available from the database. In this case, I do know that I want to query the assets by risk level with percentage. And I'm going to select a few fields here. I'm going to say that I want the risk level itself, and I want the percentage. I'm going to run this query. This is going to be executed directly to our Presto database, and it's going to give us the data back from the database. Once we configure our query, the next thing for us to do is to configure the component. So it's as easy as selecting what the value that we want to use. In this case, remember, I'm looking for the percentage of high-risk elements. We have a target, let's say, for example, that 30% of or less. Being below the target is something good. And then this is going to be not download thread. This is the risk level that what we're plotting here. And I'm going to specify that this is a percentage value. So I'm going to hit save. And this widget is going to auto refresh, and it's going to show us the values that are coming from the database. So as you can see here immediately, we get that 27.8% risk level of high risk assets. And then we see our target is 30%. And then we see the current value out of the 100. Bhuma also offers a lot of different components you can use similar to this. It's only drag and drop and connecting to your data to help you build really powerful and attractive dashboards. But our capabilities are not limited to that. So we allow you to manage pages. Each one of them, you can specify the roles that are going to be allowed to access those pages, the ones we want to hide from given users. You can also have different options for deployment, different options for authentication, and many more things that will set us apart from most dashboarding tools. So let me jump ahead and show you an application that I have already built so I can show you more about the features and more about the experience that the end users are going to have. So here, as you can see, we have a large variety of widgets fulfilling the entire use case for Shadow IT, which basically has to do with risk management. So you can manage and monitor the assets on your network. Shadow IT refers to those assets that are being used that are outside of the company policies and rules. So things like the completion rate for the discovery of those assets, the amount of usage that it's a specific application or service may have, the distribution of those assets, and also the level that each one of them present to your company. So As you can see here, we have also a few other views, as this is a multi-page application. Let me show you, for example, here we have another grid where you can have multiple tables all connected to different filters that allow you to drill in and finding more about the asset and what's going on this case on your network. So let me jump into the preview mode so I can show you what the application looks like once it's deployed in production. So as mentioned, here you can see, for example, if you want to find out the completion rate of the asset discovery, you know you have 300 total assets discovered out of 1,000. So you might be wondering, what about the other assets? So here you can see that you have in progress 351 and not started 348. Also, you can see, explore, and understand this data better by knowing the risk distribution among these assets that haven't been just yet completed on the discovery process. So in a similar way, we allow you to explore individual assets. You can context drill into each one of these things to help you better understand, for example, the current usage of a given asset and more details about it, right? Encryption, availability of patches, locations, and so on and so forth that allow you to understand and manage each one of them within your company. In a similar way, as I showed you before, you can come in here and do a lot of things, right? Let's say, for example, I want to see the assets from the last 30 days, and I want to filter out those with an unknown risk. And then I want to make sure that I filter out only the ones that are not allowed. That's really what I want to get to. And for example, here you can see something like, let's say Instagram for the sake of this demo. And you can explore, view the details. You can take more actions. And also you can manage each one of these different aspects related to this. In conclusion, Bhuma provides a powerful platform for creating real-time data super apps that fully leverage the potential of PrestoDB and data lakehouses. By enabling users to build these innovative applications, Bhuma simplifies extracting meaningful insights from vast amounts of diverse data and opens up new possibilities for real-time decision-making and predictive analysis. Whether it's for business intelligence, data science, or operational analytics, Bhuma transforms how organizations interact with their data into actionable insights that drive business growth and innovation. In the era of big data, a tool like Bhuma is not just an advantage. It's necessary for any enterprise seeking to stay competitive and data-driven in its decision-making process.